He honestly looked like one of those little goblins from Gringotts Bank in Harry Potter. And his ear was all folded over, and he looked super funny but super cute. So I am almost 8 weeks postpartum. I think I'm in my 7th week postpartum. Next Tuesday he will be 8 weeks old. So just gonna do a little video to update how things have been since the birth. That was really the last video we posted regarding like my pregnancy and everything was his birth. So now that it's been some time, we're just gonna talk about what's been going on. So I guess starting with his birth, just kind of my take on how it went this time around. It was good. It was, birth is an amazing, powerful experience, and it was great, but I was definitely not expecting it to take as long as it took. A lot of people were telling me, oh, it's your second, it'll be much quicker, even to the point of you might have to be careful to call your midwife ahead of time because it can happen so quickly that the midwife can't get there in time. But that was not the case with him. I was in really, I had early signs of labor. For about 2 days I would have contractions that would come for 15 minutes straight and then go away and then come back again and then go away. So when the contractions would start, I would try to walk and see if they would keep up, and they would usually still dissipate. But then finally on the morning of the 3rd, I think I woke up at 3 a.m. because I just couldn't sleep. I had pretty regular contractions that weren't going away. I just felt kind of this anxious energy, so I woke up, and I think Cameron came up shortly after, and we went outside. I walked around and probably should have rested, but I couldn't sleep. I've been up really early that morning, and then once I knew, okay, these contractions are not going away, we started to really prepare for the birth and just get the space right. And I sat on the birth ball for a really long time. I tried to eat, tried to just, I think I always do this during birth. I kind of, once I know, okay, this is it, I get really focused as opposed to just going about my day normally. And I would like to next time, if there is a next time, just go about my day even longer. I did it longer this time, but just go about my day longer to the point where, okay, I'm going about my day and now I have to stop. I think I usually kind of try to get myself in the zone a little early, and then I get really fatigued by the time I'm in it. But it wasn't so bad this time around. The worst part of it was I think I stayed in the birth tub for too long. So what happened was, when I started to feel the intensity of the contractions really start to get higher and higher, we decided to fill the tub so I could get some relief from the warm water. I was going through transition in the tub, which, if you know what transition is, it's that last little bit that your body needs to dilate till your cervix is fully stretched, and it can be really intense. And it is really intense for me. Anyways, I know some women have really pain-free births. I have not had that experience thus far, but what did happen to me this time around that was different than Nina for the transition period was I got those body shakes. So I remember my jaw started to shake, and I just felt I don't know, I was kind of losing control of my body, and I was ready to push him out. I was like, okay, this is it. He's got to be there. And I kind of felt to see if I could feel his head, and it was still I still had to reach in a good amount, maybe that much. And my water hadn't broke, so I was like, okay, what's going on? And he was just stuck there. It felt for hours, and I kept saying, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to make it stop. Please just make it stop. I was feeling really over it for a long time, and finally, I kind of had this thought, but I wasn't sure because the water did feel nice, but I thought maybe I need to get out of the water because that happened with Nina's birth as well, that the buoyancy of the water just didn't allow my body to bring the baby down. So I had the thought, but I was enjoying the pain relief of it, so I wasn't really sure. But then my midwife was like, you know what, maybe you should get out of the water. And I was like, oh yeah, that sounds about right. And then from there, I tried standing, and I was just really tired at this point, and I was like, I know this is gonna prolong my labor even more, but I need to lay down, like I need to rest. I just need to take a second. So I lay down on my side and just kind of breathe through the contractions as much as possible. And then, I don't know, I just got a second wave of energy where I was like, okay, I'm done. I want to get it out. So I got up on all fours to try and get the gravity more on my side. Because I had been feeling like kind of urges to push, but it got stronger as time went on. So once I felt that urge to push, I set up, and yeah, I was just ready to be done. So I got that second wave of energy to really bring him down. I felt him lower inside of me, so I was like, okay, this is it, final stretch, just get it done with. And finally my water broke, and his head came out. And what was different for this as well was Nina, because I didn't know how big he was at all. I only had one ultrasound at like 20 weeks with him. And with Nina, she was really small. So it was just like head popped out, body came shortly after. I don't even remember having to really push her body out. She kind of just slid out. With him, I really had to breathe his head out, and he felt a lot bigger just in my pelvic cavity. He just felt bigger. I knew it was going to be a bigger baby. And finally, when the head came out, I was like, okay, like, what are you guys doing? Pull him out. I don't know what is taking so long. And they're like, no, like, we can't just pull him out. So you have to wait for another contraction. I was like, oh my God, okay. And so I pushed again during the next contraction, and then half of his body came out. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, come on. And it was just I hadn't really felt that feeling of just like having half a baby sticking out of you for a prolonged period of time, because Nina was just like bloop bloop. He was like, ugh. It was like, it took a good 3 pushes. It was like head, half his body, and then finally the rest of his body. And if you've given birth before, that feeling of like the finally it's out was just the best feeling in the world. Not only because you did it, labor is done, but then you finally get to look at him. He looked, automatically I knew he looked different than Nina, at least in the immediate newborn stage. He honestly looked like one of those little goblins from Gringotts Bank in Harry Potter, and his ear was all folded over, and he looked super funny but super cute. We were overjoyed. Cam saw that it was a boy, told me it was a boy before he passed into me, so that was really cool. And Nina's reaction to the whole thing was really interesting too, because we were unsure how she was gonna react to birth, and seeing me like that, and she did really, really, really amazingly well. There were times when it was a bit too much for her, I think, where people were like, okay, like, it's time to come watch your mom push, and she was just like, she needed her time. So she came in and out of the room at her own pace, which I really appreciate that she did. And then I think she saw Julian be born, but then she still needed some time before like really coming over and meeting him. Also, she's really afraid of umbilical cords and placentas, so she was not trying to see that. She knew ahead of time that was not a part that she wanted to see. So once he was out for a little bit, she came, she met him, and the look on her face I'll never forget, like just this pure little smile and joy. So I was happy that was her reaction. It's really been that way since. Like she's never really felt much resentment towards him. There was one moment where we used to call Nina, we say like a nickname is my little chunky, And we called him my little chunky, and she was like, but I'm your little chunky. And we're like, of course, you're both our little chunkies. And she said, like, I feel left out. And it was something easily remedied. We just, loved up on her and gave her some quality time. So yeah, even times where I feel like she should be resentful, I feel like, oh man, she's gonna get jealous or she's gonna get upset. She really doesn't. Like, she's never taken anything out on him or felt like his presence is causing any sort of issue. Even when she'll say like, oh, like nobody can play with me because you have Julian and this, but she's never really upset with him about it. It's just kind of like, this is the situation. But yeah, she's reacted amazingly. She loves being big sister. She's a little too obsessed with him sometimes. She's doing really well. And actually today is her second day of trying out a school, because as time has gone on within this 8-week postpartum, there's been a huge, shift of, okay, this is now life with 4 as opposed to life with 3, and life with 2 kids as opposed to life with 1. And me and Cam just kind of saw a readiness in her to be more around other kids, and also our ability to be able to be as present with her is obviously less now. Yeah, and she's been really excited about it, so we'll kind of update as that goes along as well, if she decides to stick with it and stay in the school. Because when we first had Julian, Cam's mom was here to help, and man, I don't know what we would have done without her. Like, she was super duper lifesaver. Yeah, like that was a huge help to not only Nina transitioning into having another sibling, but me and Cam being able to get rest, not having to worry so much about cleaning the house or cooking or going grocery shopping. She did so much, and it was really great to have her be able to spend time with Nina, so we're not feeling guilty about, oh man, like she's just on her own, or we're not spending as much time with her. So that was super helpful, because I really decided to rest this postpartum much more than I did with Nina. With Nina, I think maybe less than a week after I was trying to get back to normal, washing dishes, sweeping the house, going on walks, like all this stuff. And at the time my body felt okay, but then as the weeks went on, I was drained, and I not only postpartum with Nina, I had an intestinal obstruction, but I had mastitis. It got rough. Like, I really jumped into it too quick and did not allow my body to rest. So I knew with this time around, I wanted to do things much differently. So my midwife is huge on the first 40 days after giving birth, and even longer than that. So that, that first 6-week period of just really resting as much as possible. I don't think I left my bedroom for like 2 weeks. I did not look at my kitchen. I did not touch a pot or pan. I did not cook anything. Cam and his mom brought me all my meals, and Nina helped bringing me food. She would bring me snacks. She would fill my water. Like, really just kind of accepting that help, and accepting kind of being waited upon, and allowing my body to fully rest and not even get up out of bed. Like, I was laying flat. I was really trying to take care of my pelvic floor and my body, and just getting as much rest as possible, and then obviously bonding with him as much as possible. And I think that definitely helped me not feel so much burnout, because by this point with Nina, my body had just gone through so much, and I was also just way more mentally exhausted, way more anxious. Like, I remember getting in little fights with Cameron a lot more after Nina, because I was just so worn down. Like, everything was triggering, everything was bothering me, and it's really been smooth. Like, it's amazing what rest can do for your mind, your body, everything, your family dynamic, honestly, because I'm just way more whole and way more put together, to where I'm not snapping at people. I'm not feeling so run down, and it feels like a much easier transition into the newborn stage and being a mother to a new baby again. So yeah, fueling myself, resting, hydrating, definitely taking those more seriously. Yeah, so like I said, Cam's mom definitely helped with that. And there's a big transition to when she left, because we had all that help, and then she had to go back to the States. So that was the real, like, okay, this is what it's gonna be like, family of four. And it wasn't so bad. There were definitely days where me and Cameron were like, how are we gonna do this? You know, like Nina needs, not that she needs a lot of attention, but we want to give her a lot. We were homeschooling. You know, we are kind of her source of entertainment, since she's not around a lot of other kids, and she can entertain herself, but only to so long, and we don't want her to have to do that all the time. So there were points where me and Cam were like, we need a nanny, we need to figure something out, because this is just not working. Cam wasn't able to get any work done. It was hard for me to get rest, because also I'm waking up through the night with him. But we found a groove, and once he started to kind of adjust more to being outside the womb, we found, yeah, it just got easier. And even now with Nina expressing desire to go to school, and with us feeling comfortable with it, it seems like it's gonna be a positive move if she does decide that she's comfortable with it still, and just an easier transition into a family of four, because we can be more present with her when she is home and when she is around, and then she can be around other kids and not just be bored by us adults all day. Yeah, that was the big moment when Cam's mom left, of like, okay, how is this gonna be? But so far it has been not so bad, and I definitely think my approach to mothering, you know, after being a mother already for 4 years, it's true, you're a lot more laid back with your subsequent kids. I'm just not as bothered by little things. I'm not so on edge. I know what to expect. Even if he's like crying, it's like, okay, this is just what babies do. It's not a reflection of me as a bad mom. It's, you know, there's only so much you can do at certain times. With babies, especially if they have like rough hours, which, yeah, I guess I'll kind of get into how he's been and his patterns and personality and stuff. He definitely is a bit different than Nina. Nina had like that week postpartum, she barely cried at all. Like, she was super, super chill. It was so easy to put her to sleep. She was nursing fine. Like, she really didn't have many issues. And then once that like week to 2 week mark hit, it was like, okay, now she's gassy. She's like waking up to the world and being like, oh my God, what's going on? With him, I feel like it was the opposite. Like, he immediately was just like, what the heck? And he was really fussy from, you know, everyone talks about that, oh, that first night you're gonna get this long stretch of sleep and it's gonna be really, really nice. That did not happen. He was like, where am I? What is going on? You know, put me back in the womb, basically. So we noticed he needed a lot more like motion and like rocking and just a lot more comfort. And then slowly, as time has gone on, he's mellowing out, and he's kind of having a pattern to his fussiness, I guess. As really what's been going on with him is, as the day goes on, he just slowly kind of gets more fussy to, I guess, what people call the witching hour. Somewhere between like 5 and 7 to 8 p.m., he's just needs a lot more care and a lot more attention, basically. In the morning, we can put him in his rocker or set him down on his play mat, and he'll play with Nina, and he'll just kind of be chilling out. Towards the end of the night, he just wants to be held and bounced. So yeah, that's really the only thing, is like navigating that period of night and figuring out how to deal with it. He also loves to be swaddled. Nina didn't really care for it. Didn't really make a difference with her whether or not she was swaddled or not. You can instantly tell, like the moment you get him in a swaddle, he's way more calm. So during those fussy periods at night, like that 5 to 8 p.m. range, we definitely utilize the swaddle. He loves the rocker as well. Nina didn't really care for it, so we have like a little mechanical rocker, and he'll sit in there. Sometimes he'll fall asleep in there as well. And excuse me. So that's been super helpful. Yeah, I think the things I'm finding super necessary are a little bit different this time around as well, postpartum. Yeah, definitely the swaddle has been a lifesaver, that little rocker. We have this play mat that he really likes as well. We just kind of put him down on a soft surface. He can do tummy time. We can put other things in front of him. Nina can play with him. We are not doing a pacifier this time around with him. We did that with Nina, mainly because I had to be in the hospital when Nina was 2 months old, so it was hard for Kim to manage all of that, and we decided to use a pacifier for her. Him, we're going ahead with not doing it, just because we noticed with Nina it started to become more of a hindrance than a help, so we're just kind of skipping that whole phase with him. And sleep has not been so bad with him. It's really just hit or miss. He has his nights where it's like every hour he'll wake, and then some nights he gives like 4-hour stretches. Speaking of, let me bounce. He's been a little sick, so yeah, so some nights he gives like 4-hour stretches. Some nights it's really rough. Like I said, he has been a little sick recently, and this is new for me too. Nina's first cold was like, I don't know, she was 7 or 8 months. So I've never had a baby this young have sniffles and cough and stuff. So it's just so rough because there's not much you can do other than breastfeed and suction their nose, and we've been using humidifier, but it seems to be getting better.
Yeah. Did they get a kiss? That's a no.
What is happening again, the same thing happened with Nina, is my milk comes down really fast, so gotta burp like mid-feed, after every feed, because it comes out so fast when my milk comes down that they'll pull off and it's like spraying across the room. So they get a lot of gas, or swallow a lot of air. I know. Swallow a lot of air while they nurse. So that's just something to navigate, is, as my body regulates how much milk to make, it seems to get better. So that's something we've been dealing with. But he started to give us little smiles recently. That's always a great feeling when they're just not staring at you and screaming at you anymore. You get some interaction. I don't know if you guys saw the video we made as well about his hematoma that he had. It is now pretty much fully resolved. There's like a little bit of swelling, but it's gone down significantly, and it's not really an issue anymore. But that was something we had to keep an eye on with him. I think because he was in my birth canal for so long, every time I had a contraction, his head would push up against one of my pelvic bones, because his head was like a little turned, I think. And yeah, so he just had a little hematoma from that, but it is all resolved now, and we're still waiting to get his documents so we can get his Mexican citizenship, his American citizenship, and his American passport. So what has been happening is basically just a huge delay in the whole process. We were supposed to get his proof of life affidavit, which is basically a document that just says he was born on this day. And the office has a new person in charge that has just made it a little bit more difficult for people that have done home births. So the doctor and me and the midwife are just trying to coordinate when to get all that stuff done, because we really just want to get it out of the way so then we can travel as well, because can't go anywhere if he doesn't have any documents. We were gonna maybe go back to the States for the holidays, but it's not looking like it's gonna be possible because we still have nothing for him. He is a completely undocumented baby. Yeah, so we're gonna try to figure that out soon, hopefully, because also my passport is expiring soon. So it's a bit of a mess, but once the process gets going, I've heard it's pretty straightforward. So we'll update with how that goes and what that's like. Yeah, he's generally pretty chill, loves being bounced. Oh man, major tip. That birth ball you sit on when you're pregnant, do not get rid of that, because you can bounce your baby on that, and you know, when you're sick of walking and holding them, it's a great tool to have. What, you want to try the other side or something? Yeah, it's a great tool to have, and he loves it, so just keep that. And one thing again I've started now that I'm past my 6-week mark is I'm going to the pelvic floor therapist again. So my body has been feeling good. I had my first little trial of exercise after my 6 weeks of So yeah, I had a first trial of exercise. I've been walking with him, but I went to the pelvic floor therapist basically to be evaluated to see if it was okay to start exercise again. Everything was good. The only thing that I've been going back for really is just to do some pelvic floor strengthening stuff, since he was much bigger and definitely those muscles got stretched a lot more during his delivery. That's been great. Love going there. We'll probably have a video on that again soon, because I was originally going to her during my pregnancy to not only prepare for birth, but I was having the pubic symphysis pain like really, really bad, and she helped a lot with that. And since delivering him, it's slowly gone away. The bones, like the ligaments and cartilage and stuff, is not irritated anymore. So I definitely think having the pelvic floor therapist helped it heal so quickly, and yeah, I just don't really have much issue anymore. But yeah, it's been really, really smooth. Definitely have a different perspective this second time around going into motherhood. Just a bit more relaxed, a bit more, consciously trying to not take things so anxiously as I did the first time, and really, really resting and giving myself the fuel and everything it needs to do this, because 2 is different, you don't get as much rest, and yeah, so I've just been taking a different approach that I think has helped. A lot of people have asked me as well, like, now that I've gone through everything with my birth team, how I would rate them, and whew, off the charts. They were just amazing. Through the prenatal stuff, the birth, I mean, man, I could not have done it without them. I told them during one of my postpartum visits, they have reaffirmed that I am not a free birther. Like, I really, really appreciate the support that they gave me, and even just little things like encouraging me when times got tough. Just all the physical, mental support they gave me was amazing. So yeah, definitely, I will link their information again in the description of the video. So if you're in Merida and looking for doctors and midwives and doulas, you can reach out to them. Postpartum visits were great. They came to me every time. They provided everything I needed, did his little check up, like the newborn exam, weighed him. Yeah, just really, really took their time with me and addressed every concern that we had. And still I have my last visit with them coming up. They do like a closing ceremony just to close out the process and kind of end our experience together, even though I'll see them all the time because they're just other moms in the community here. But I could not recommend them enough. They're super, super great. Smiling in his sleep. I think someone had asked me about choosing my midwife and doctor here, and honestly it was really easy in my case because one of our friends that we already knew one was a midwife, one was a doula, and they actually worked together because the doula was training to be a midwife. So it was kind of a no-brainer. We already felt really comfortable with them and knew that we wanted somebody that we had already built that relationship with to help bring, the new baby into the world. So it was a really easy choice for us. The doctor that they work with, we had two choices between the doctors, and really either one would have been amazing. We just went with the doctor that got us in sooner for the ultrasound, honestly. And she was great. Dr. Valeria was really, really informative and helpful throughout the whole process. She's been great with trying to get all his documents together. Hopefully, like I said, we can do it soon. In terms of birthing specifically in Mexico, depending on where you are, get a carrier that's not gonna be super hot, because here in Merida it's really hot, and sometimes in that carrier we be both, like me and Julian just be cooking. So take the weather into account into your postpartum time. Like I said, we were thinking about doing a nanny. We're probably just gonna do the school for Nina if everything goes well, but that is something that is relatively easy to find here, depending on your budget and what's around in your area. So yeah, once we get all his registration and stuff done, we'll be able to do a more in-depth video on that. Unfortunately, it's been really delayed. Yeah, if there's more that you want to know about, like we could do a day in the life type video. If there's more specific issues, or not issues, but specific questions or things you want us to address, definitely let us know. As he gets older, we'll put out more updates about how things are going, and once we get all his paperwork and everything sorted, we can update about that as well. Yeah, just let us know if there's anything you'd like to see. If you like this video, please comment, subscribe, push the little like button. We also do have memberships now. If you're interested in becoming a member, it'll get you access to different stuff on our channel. So check that out if you're interested as well. It would really, really, really be helpful, and it's just another way you can support us and help our channel grow and help our family grow. So thank you for watching. You can bring him back for the end. Hi. Say goodbye. And thanks for watching. Little grunty baby.